I want to talk about a decision I took very early in my career that felt extremely uncomfortable at the time. But looking back, I realize it quietly changed the trajectory of my career. At that moment, I did not know if it would help me at all. I was not thinking long term. I was honestly just scared because I was a small kid in the school at that moment. Till 7th standard, my entire education was in my mother tongue. Everything, like all the subjects, all the exams, all the thinking itself, I would say, was in my mother tongue. English was not part of my daily life at all. I knew basic alphabets because in the 5th and 6th standard, we were introduced English as a subject. So I knew little alphabets, very basic. Enough to pass, not enough to function at all. Not enough to function at all. Then in 8th standard, my school introduced something called semi-English. Maths and science were in English. Everything else stayed in my native language. Even that felt intimidating. I remember sitting in the class and realizing I was not struggling with the subject. I was just struggling with the language of English. I could understand the concept in my head, but translating it into English, that felt exhausting. Still, I managed somehow. But then came the real decision. The real decision. After 8th, my family and I had to decide whether I should move to a fully English medium school for 9th and 10th or continue with the semi-English pattern that we were doing in 8th. At that time, almost nobody did this of moving to, English medium school. People believed that switching mediums would destroy your grades because it is so late in the game, because 10th standard is an important year. Because if you move, you would not perform well in those board exams, that you would fall behind and that your future would be at risk, because 10th standard board exams are so crucial to get admit in the 11th standard colleges. And honestly, those fears were valid and not imaginary, because from 9th onwards, every subject was in English. Every subject. History, geography, science, maths, and so many others, like everything. I don't remember also now. There was no safety net. I still remember carrying an Oxford dictionary everywhere. Not metaphorically, literally. I still remember the Oxford dictionary, all the pages were torn out because it was so tough. I could not survive without that Oxford dictionary. I could not understand anything. Studying took twice the time, and more than that, thrice and 4 times almost, many times. And reading took effort, lot of efforts to understand. Writing answers felt slow and painful. And teachers spoke fluently. The classmates I had spoke confidently, and I felt like the odd one out. And I could see people looking at me, wondering why someone from a native language background would voluntarily put himself in this situation. There were moments when I questioned that decision. Late nights? Yes. Early mornings? Yes. Constant self-doubt? Yes, always. But my mother believed something very simple at that moment. She believed that discomfort now was better than the regret later. Because from 11th, all the education was going to be in English. So she felt, and everyone in the family, when we discussed this, felt that it would be good to have that discomfort now than later. She believed that even if her marks dropped slightly, the long-term payoff of the confidence in English would be worth it. So I stayed there. I struggled, but I stayed there even through that struggle. And something interesting happened. Really interesting happened. The struggle did not break me there. It trained me. By the time I cleared 9th and 10th, English stopped feeling like an enemy for me. I was feeling it like an enemy before. It stopped feeling like that. It became a tool. Not perfect, not polished, but usable. That decision did not show immediate rewards. Not immediate rewards. No applause, no dramatic success story, no. But years later, I started noticing the compounding effect. When I came to the United States, when I worked in global teams, when I sat in meetings with people from different countries, when communication mattered more than the credentials that you have. That early discomfort gave me confidence to step into unfamiliar rooms. And more importantly, it rewired how I look at hard decisions. When I was sitting in those rooms with global teams, I also had empathy for people who didn't have English as a common native language because I had gone through that. I stopped asking questions to myself, is this comfortable? I started asking, will this expand me in my career? That mindset helped me later when I changed my fields, took up roles I was not fully ready for, studied further while working full time, moved countries, took professional risks. Looking back, this was not an English story. No, this was a discomfort story. Most people avoid discomfort early and then complain later that life feels so hard. Life feels so hard. But life does not become easier by choosing comfort. No. It becomes easier by choosing the growth early. And this is something I feel students should know. And I tell them when I'm talking with them, they ask me, sir, what should I do? And I tell them this, if you keep choosing what feels easy today, you will keep paying the interest tomorrow. But if you choose what feels hard today, life starts paying you back quietly, not immediately, but steadily. That school decision taught me something very important in my career, very important. Confidence is not built by talent. It is built by surviving uncomfortable transitions. Uncomfortable transitions. You do not become confident first and then take risks. You take risks first and confidence follows. And this applies far beyond education as well. Career choices, the geographies decisions, skill building, communication, leadership, and many more. The people you admire today did not magically become strong. They simply chose discomfort when others chose safety. If you are in a phase where something feels scary right now, where you feel out of place, where you feel slower than others, where you feel like you do not belong, pause before you quit, because I have been there. I can remember sitting in that school in English medium and I felt this and more at that time. Sometimes the discomfort is not a warning sign. It is a growth signal. You do not need to rush. You do not need to prove anything. Just stay long enough for the struggle to train you. That one decision I took in school did not make headlines. It did not make any headlines, honestly. But it made everything else easier later. If this resonates with you, remember, you are not behind. You are not behind. You are just early in that discomfort phase. And if you are going through that phase right now, trust me, it compounds quietly, relentlessly, in your favor. And if you have gone through this phase and you are able to get through that, please share your story in the comments. It may help those who are reading this and going through this phase right now.